double Hilton Honors base points. Real value from your friends at Hampton.
Close out your day on the court
with Postgame Live.
From courtside,
they improved to 6-1. They got a lot of confidence. They played tough.
To the studio.
They have just been dominant throughout this conference.
I think they're the team to beat.
Get the best highlights.
Bailey for the big finish.
And complete analysis.
TJ goes 8 for 8 from the foul line.
Right here after the game.
Postgame Live, only on the Mountain.
Get total coverage after the game with Postgame Live, right here on the Mountain.
On Campus Cam, the show that lets students sound off on the top stories in college sports. Join student reporters from across the Mountain West as they debate the headlines from the conference and beyond. On Campus Cam, Tuesday at 4 on the Mountain.
BYU with the big lead over CSU, and Moby Arena is getting itself a new neighbor moving in. The new football practice facilities being built right next door.
All right, Colorado State has dedicated some serious money to upgrading the facilities, and boy, what a great job Steve Fairchild did, and they're deservedly going to get an indoor practice facility. But that's a team, as he took over last year, that I thought down the stretch got better every single week, and they're going to be a force to contend with in the coming years. Colorado State Ram football is on the rise.
Saw a couple of crazy guys up there working.
You talk about brave. Is that brave or is that crazy? I'm not sure which.
Especially this past week, it's been windy here along the Front Range. I don't know if I'd want to be up there when the winds are gusting about 50 miles an hour. That's some major courage right there. McFarland has to go down to 4. He's swallowed up, squeezes it up and in.
Andre McFarland averaging 9.8 points a game.
Oh, beautiful pass from Emery. Looked like he was going to be caught up in the air, but he found Kamard.
Boy, what a difference BYU's guard play has made this year. I think that BYU has the quickness and the scoring ability on the guard line at every position that they haven't had in the last couple years, and that's what's made them so good offensively. And Jackson Emery is a very good perimeter defender.
Rebounding foul against Chris Miles. It'll stay with CSU. When you look at last year, BYU had experienced guards and Burgess and Murdoch. Did you think that there would be a drop-off in the backcourt this year?
That was the big question mark. Fredette got significant playing time going down the stretch, and he proved that he could play, but nobody knew how Jackson Emery would be coming back from a mission, and he's been flat out really, really good for them. And he's got some size out there at 6'3". And he has, both of these guards have great quickness.
Willis Gardner, pretty fair point guard himself as he breaks down and kicks to Walker. Walker just can't get going. Here comes that transition led by Tavaneri. Bounce pass to Fredette. Good job done by CSU as they get back on defense. Emery is first in the Mountain West in assist-to-turnover ratio. But the guy we got to talk about, that late run in the first half for BYU is really fueled by Lamont Morgan Jr. coming off the bench. Not known as much of a scorer. He had 9.
And the thing about Morgan, you see, again, the great passing game. Inbounds pass, you've always got to account for the passer. The guy that throws it in is always going to try to get back in to scoring position. The pass goes immediately back to Lee Kamard as he comes back and bounce for the easy kiss off the glass.
CSU struggling to get anything going offensively. And that ball just whips around. And calmly draining the 3 is Fredette.
And what Colorado State has to do, they cannot get frustrated. They're trying to work on a new offense, and they can't be worried about what the score is. They got to worry about getting better between each timeout. And Tim Miles knows that this is a situation where these guys have to play loose, to not be worried, and to try to run this new offense and get better.
Gardner for three, short, fought for, 2-on-1, Kumard and Tamanari. Top 45. And even though the foul was called against CSU, that was a nice job done. It looked like it was Walker that was back by his lonesome, and actually the foul was against BYU, so a 2-on-1 with Tamanari and Kumard. Lethal, but Walker with a nice job defending.
You have to be quick to defend two guys. There's a 2-on-1, and Marcus Walker showed you the kind of quickness that he has and the quick hands. He got in the way of everything they wanted to do. That was just a good hustle play.
CSU with this new offense, this new look, they're sort of tweaking things and struggling mightily shooting here in the second half. Tim Miles likes the motion offense, but he's decided that maybe this team needs a little bit more continuity, more of a structure on offense. Why do you think that this team is struggling so much with the motion offense?
Well, I think it's because they've had so many lineup changes with all the injuries they had. Remember that Willis Gardner was hurt, and Harvey Perry was hurt, and Van der Veeren is now hurt and has struggled with the back. They had 10 different starting lineups, mostly because of injuries. And now, most teams go through the preseason, and they're figuring out who they want on the floor and the different matchups. Tim Miles is having to do that now, because now when he's got guys healthy, now he's trying to decide what the best group of people he needs to have on the floor in certain situations are, trying to figure out personnel. So he's a little bit behind the curve because of injuries, and this is a young basketball team.
Fredette misses the three. Oh, beautiful tip in by Kumard. Kumard had a quiet 7 in the first half, already with 8 here in the second half, 15 total. Ogade puts the ball on the floor, lays it up and in.
And I like the power game of Andy Ogade. He's just a sophomore, transferred from Mississippi, redshirted last year as a transfer, and he's a physical specimen. He can get to the basket, and he's going to be very good before he's done here. Lee Kumard is already very good. And BYU right now, taking advantage of Colorado State, maybe starting to show a little bit of fatigue defensively, and if you back off on the weak side, on the far side, they'll swing the basketball and find the open guy.
Lee Kumard now with 18 as the Cougars continue to pull away.
The tradition and pageantry of college athletics. There's nothing else like it. The Mountain West Conference. Get to the game.
It's about teamwork,
Strength from unity.
rising to the moment.
Reaching for greatness.
It's where excellence becomes reality.
And team becomes the ultimate champion. This is Mountain West basketball.
And this is where we play. The Mountain, where the West is one.
Coming up today, men's basketball continues with UNLV and TCU at 3:30 and Air Force in New Mexico at 7:30, right here on the Mountain.
Just watched Lee Kumard put on a bit of a scoring display here in the last couple of minutes. Kumard, one of several exciting players to watch this year in the conference.
All right, Tony Dandridge down in New Mexico, Kyle Spain. Talk about some guys that can elevate. And our highlight shows Kevin Langford, old school Kevin Langford, fundamentally great. Luke Neville, Wink Adams had a little bit of an abdominal strain in the game we did one of the games we did of his down in Vegas, but he's back, and well, there's a lot of terrific players. This is a league that brought back a lot of starters this year. It was a good league last year, and it has a chance to be a great league this year, getting multiple NCAA tournament bids and do some damage in the tournament. It's an experienced league, with the exception, Colorado State doesn't have a lot of experience, but there are teams, UNLV, BYU, San Diego State, Utah, very experienced basketball teams this year.
You look at the preseason all-conference team and names that fans of the Mountain West have become accustomed to watching. Lee Cummard, Lorenzo Wade, Wink Adams, Luke Neville, Brandon Ewing. Players that seems like have been here playing forever.
And a lot of these guys, like Lee Cummard, played a lot as a freshman. Brandon Ewing started as a freshman. Some of these guys have been playing since they were freshmen, the stars in this league right now, so it should be a very good league this year.
Rose steps beyond the three-point line and misses. BYU has hit the magic number, 11-2 when getting up over 70.
This season, they pretty much just score 70 all the time. You know, even nobody's really stopped BYU this year. They played Wake Forest, and Wake Forest had to simply go out and outscore them. They scored in the high 80s in that game.
BYU 12-2 after their best start in 9 years, and their only 2 losses have come against ranked teams in Wake Forest and Arizona State.
Yeah, they played Arizona State on the road. I guess you could call it a home game for Arizona State. It was in the new football arena in Glendale, where the Super Bowl was played, and then a home loss to number 6 Wake Forest.
And that loss to Wake Forest, snapping a 53-game home winning streak, which was the longest in the country. Archie Rose with his first points of the game. Good work underneath. Fighting is Franklin. Just cannot get anything going offensively for CSU, shooting just 32% in this one. Compare that with 58% for BYU. Good feed, hard foul. McGregor will have to earn it at the line. Ogade with the no layup allowed rule. And you look at the shooting percentage for BYU, 58%. It's not really much off their season average. They average 50% from the field during the season. A very good shooting team. This copyrighted telecast of the Mountain West Conference is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use or dissemination of this telecast, or the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Mountain West Conference is prohibited.
Now, Mike, go back to your thought about shooting percent. The other thing is, their top scorers shoot it extremely well. Tavernari, who's averaging 18.5, shoots 45.4% from the field. And then you've got Cummard and Fredette and Emery all shoot 50% plus, with Cummard shooting 55.4%. When your big-time scorers are shooting that kind of percentage, you know that the team's being unselfish and they're getting good shots.
You watch them play here, and the ball moves so crisply, and there are so many open looks. No wonder they're able to shoot 50%. Morgan and Fredette in the backcourt. Rose. This is someone that they'd like to see get going, because they like what he could pose as a matchup problem as a big guard.
Yeah, he's a senior out of the Nassau, Bahamas, and played junior college ball at Northeast Colorado and Lee College. And he had 11 points in their last game, and well, he would be a nice boost off the bench if they could get him more involved. And you know, they had a chance to play him their last game. He's getting some good minutes here. But you're right, he's a 6'5", 210-pound guard.
McGregor with the foul on Josh Simmons. McGregor's a great story. Former walk-on. I don't know about you, Blaine, but I can't imagine there were too many 6'10" guys walking around college campuses that don't have a team to play for, that they don't go and find him.
Especially 6'10" and that athletic. You know, I think he was thin coming out of high school. He just went to school for a couple years, and if I was a coach and I saw him walking down the hall, I'd say, hey, wait a minute. Hey, tell me your name. What do you go to school here? You need to come try out. And McGregor decided to try out, and he's given them some good depth off the bench. What he does is he blocks shots, he runs the floor well, he plays good defense, and boy, there's a lot of teams that would like a guy like Gavin McGregor at 6'10", 40 to come off the bench and play D and block shots for him.
2 free throws for Simmons. Reaches in and knocks the ball away from McGregor.
And Jesse Carr is a player out of Ainsworth, Nebraska that Tim Miles has great hopes for a great future. He's got a whole posse of his people. He's got about 50 people to get together and watch every game back in Ainsworth, Nebraska, in a place they call the Rams Cave. They all gather up and watch him play. Look at scoring. Three-pointers, 27, and CSU has not made a three-point bucket.
9 of 18 three-point shooting for BYU, 0 for 12 for the Rams. And that was one of your keys to the game for BYU, find the shooters. They have done that. Although, as if on cue, Marcus Walker with the first 3.
Well, and I've been watching BYU defensively, and Marcus Walker, they've been very hesitant to leave him to help. That time, Lamont Morgan went to help, and Marcus Walker is a very good shooter. If you leave him open, he's got a beautiful stroke from there. Morgan went to help. Colorado State found the open man, and Walker knocked it down.
Jesse Carr is just one of those tough kids that just love basketball. Gym rat. He's got a bandage on his chin. Spinning move by Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, just a sophomore, is a very young Colorado State basketball team. And one of the things you have to wonder when you're playing BYU, and I'm looking at Colorado State right now, they push it at you. I think it brings your shooting percentage down, because when you finally get back on offense after you've had to hustle back on defense time after time, you're tired. Your legs aren't quite there. It's harder to make jump shots when your legs are tired.
BYU has gone to the bench. The results haven't changed. They keep pouring it on.
How does a company express commitment to a community? At Sinclair, we believe it's through local investments. In Wyoming and Oklahoma, for example, we're making serious investments to increase our refining production and make them among the cleanest and most efficient in the nation. And now we're offering more of the fuels produced there by your friends and neighbors through Sinclair gas stations and convenience stores. Because at Sinclair, we're about as American as it gets.
The latest scores.
Free ball. Nice dish. Coast to coast. Martinez at the buzzer.
The week's top highlights.
Here comes the blitz and drop to the turf. Scout and guide. Do they connect? Yes, they do.
And the headline stories from across the conference.
They came in number 4 in the country.
Another game down to the wire.
We're pretty solid defensively.
She's such a dynamic player.
Get the best from the Mountain West every week on the Mountain Cat. Tonight at 9:30 on the Mountain.
We're out here racing luxury trucks. I mean, I can't think of a better word, but fantastic. Yeah, that's what I like about it. Yeah! This thing rocks. Wow, that's cool. Yeah! Go, 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 go! I love it. Can we do it again?
Welcome back to Fort Collins. BYU up 31. Our Hampton Inn winning play is brought to you by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And Blaine, this one play is indicative of several plays that we've seen throughout the course of this game.
BYU's penetration from their guards. You get so worried about them kicking it back to the outside for an open three, and then what do? They come down, and Jackson Emery fakes one to the outside, and you've got Lee Camard cutting to the basket for an easy layup. They've passed the ball so well, and it seems like everybody has an understanding of who's going where on that floor.
16 assists on 32 baskets for BYU. They average 18 assists per game, which is #1 in the Mountain West.
For Josh Simmons, his 5th point of the game. We'll look at that shooting in that second half, 6 of 17 for Colorado State, and BYU very high here in the second half.
He's talking about Jesse Carr. And during the tournament that CSU was playing in Hawaii, Carr got hit in the chin, required 7 stitches. He left. He was back out on the floor playing after about 10-15 minutes. He got stitched up and was right back in there, like a hockey player.
He's a tough guy. 3 times he was named to the All-State team in Nebraska, and he's another guy that Tim Miles just wants to relax and play because he's a very good basketball player. He passes the ball well. He's good in the open floor. He's very smart. This is a guy that made 303 threes. That's a Nebraska State record in his career. So the guy knows how to shoot the basketball. And this is tough for this young team. You know, there's a big learning curve, but I guarantee at that timeout, Tim Miles is saying, hey, don't even look at the score anymore. Just don't even worry about that. Go run what we're trying to have you run. Have fun out there and relax.
Jesse is indicative of, I think, a lot of the CSU players right now that they're still thinking their way around the court instead of just naturally reacting and playing. BYU just plays.
Yeah, and you've got Marcus Walkers, who's a senior on this team, but Ogade's a sophomore, McFarland's a sophomore, Carr's a freshman, Simmons a sophomore, Vanderveeren's a sophomore. They'll lose Willis Gardner, who's been a leader on this team, but they're bringing in a couple of good big guys that they've got commitments from, and they're just going to get better.
Evan McGregor enjoying a big day. He's got 8, the former walk-on. Averaged just 2 points per game, 8 already. Get a good look at Jesse Carr's bandage right there. Fredette.
It's such a confident team, this BYU team. They're not afraid to just pull up and shoot the 3. No repercussions for it. These players for BYU play with a ton of confidence. I mean, we're talking about Tim Miles in the rebuilding process here. But for BYU, what a job Dave Rose and his staff have done. This program doesn't rebuild anymore. They just reload every year. He's got another great recruiting class he assigned. He's got Tyler Hawes, who's committed to BYU for next year. He's one of the top players in the Western United States. And this is a young basketball team. Lee Kamar graduates, but Tavernari's back. Fredette is back. Jackson Embry's just a sophomore. Miles is a junior. They've really got it going. They're back-to-back outright conference championships for the Cougars.
Hey, it's a great point you make about how they've sort of layered their roster so that they always seem to have 2 or 3 seniors, 2 or 3 juniors, and then there's several sophomores and freshmen just waiting in the pipeline.
And what Dave Rose and his staff, John Wardenberg and Dave Rice and Terry Nash, if they have a great grasp on how to work the missionary program at BYU, they have now got it where the guys going out and the guys coming back, they've got this tremendous balance, and they've complemented it with a number of kids who are not of the LDS faith to fit in there. They really understand the recruiting aspect there, and they've got it going in a big way. And just you look into the foreseeable future, they're going to be good every year.
Josh Simmons back at the free throw line. He's had an active second half. Rolls in that one. Keep it tuned to the Mountain this week for more conference hoops coverage. Tomorrow at 2, the Utes host the Aztecs in a women's showdown. And Tuesday night, it's a Cougars Frogs doubleheader with the women in Fort Worth at 5:30 and the men in Provo at 8, right here on the Mountain.
Josh Simmons gets another one. Josh Simmons is a guy that started 19 games as a freshman. This is a guy that's used to winning. He played at Westfield High School as a junior and senior. His senior year, they were 36-1 and number 2 in the country in the USA Today. So this is tough. This is a learning thing for him right now. But that's the kind of players Tim Miles is going to have in this program in his future.
Bo Carball comes over late to try to block Noah Hartsock's shot, and Hartsock will go to the free throw line.
You know how you read up on these players, and okay, I'm reading Bo Carball's bio, and they always, you know, their favorite food, their favorite movie, and I'm going down. His favorite food is Fruit Loops. Whose favorite food is Fruit Loops? Everybody's like steak, pizza, lasagna. No, he just wants 2 cans Sam and a bowl in front of him and some milk, and he's good. You know, he's not a high-maintenance guy by any means.
Well, the beauty of Fruit Loops, Blaine, is that once you're done with the actual cereal, then you got the milk, which is all Fruit Loop flavor.
Oh, I love that. You know what? I got to admit, I like that.
You know? It's almost like 2 treats in one meal.
Yeah, isn't that as crazy? But you read through these bios, and that just jumped out at me. His favorite food is Fruit Loops?
Well, we're into the loopy stage of this one as 4.5 left. BYU pouring it on. CSU, though, playing hard. As Harvey Perry with a second effort.
Well, and for Tim Miles, when they watch this film, and who knows, they may not watch this film, but when they're watching the film, he's going to be looking to see who's giving him an effort down the stretch in a game that's out of reach. Who's battling, who's doing what they've coached him to do.
And it just continues in waves. The onslaught, Charles Abuo. Well, Tim Miles will find out real quick what he's got, because you've got BYU here today, and then coming up here in a few days, UNLV comes to Moby Arena.
2 very, very athletic teams that get up and down the floor.
Lamont Morgan has been fantastic. He's got 11.
And when you look at Lamont Morgan, he's done a great job of pushing the ball. He's had some nice assists in this game. He's also been the pass before the assist, where he's been the motor pushing the basketball in transition.
Yeah, you go back to when this was still a game, 29-24, last 5 minutes. The guy that really set the tone for BYU going into the break was Lamont Morgan.
Everyday value menu, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I got a junior deluxe burger for $1.
Junior breakfast burrito.
Yeah, it's a great deal for $1.
I wish I knew that they had the everyday value menu, because I would have brought more than $1.
So you walk out of the house, you're like, this will do me for the day.
If it got my great-grandfather through the day, it should get me through the day.
Have you heard of inflation, by the way?
Yeah, it makes balloons go up.
The new everyday value menu at Sonic. Got $1? Then drive in for a variety of great food, like a junior breakfast burrito, or grab a junior deluxe burger for just $1. Sonic's new everyday value menu. All this for $1 each.
The Mountain presents Legends, profiling the iconic figures in Mountain West sports. Coming up, former UNLV men's basketball coach Jerry Tarkanian.
I knew right from day one I wanted to be a coach.
He knew talent right off. He could go in the gym and look at a kid and could tell you that this kid's going to be good.
He would take a lot of players from junior colleges and say, we have an opportunity for you.
He did it with motivation. He did it with, in 2 words, rebel pride.
Legends, Jerry Tarkanian. Tonight at 6 on the Mountain.
Basketball is brought to you by Dodge. See the all-new 2009 Dodge Ram Crew Cab 1500 at your Dodge dealer. Brought to you by Sonic's new everyday value menu. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. And by St. George, Utah. Discover St. George at atozion.com. 86-49, BYU with the big lead over CSU. CSU's largest loss this season was just 19 points to Colorado. This will far surpass that. You're talking about some of the bios you enjoy reading of the players. Lamont Morgan, who had a career-high 12 points in his last game against Western Oregon, has 11 here today. He enjoys writing poetry.
See, you got to respect that. You got to respect that in the guy.
The fact that he does it, or the fact that he admits to it?
That he admits to it. That's what I'm talking about. That's courage.
That's courage right there.
No, that's awesome. You want well-rounded young men in your program.
I wonder if he's published yet. We'll have to check out some of the works of Lamont Morgan. 86-51, down to the last 3 minutes. This is the first of a triple header of college basketball here on the Mountain. And knocking down the three is Aaron Dunn, the walk-on. First time he's played this season.
Well, if he's going to shoot with that kind of stroke, then maybe he needs to play a little bit more. Well, it's for some of these young guys and guys who don't play as much, it's a good time of the game to be able to come in, you're playing, you can relax and just have some fun out there.
And as far as Dave Rose is concerned, there's value to these minutes because he feels that getting more from his bench and establishing clearer roles for his bench players is important as we move deeper into conference play.
Well, he's going to need, and some of the guys are on the floor, and he's going to need Hardstock before the season's over. He's going to need Lamont Morgan, who's played very well tonight. Abuo has had a big game for them. But they need to have some of these big guys get some experience. When they played Wake Forest, McGregor and Chris Miles both got in foul trouble, and Hardstock had to play bigger minutes, and they need to be able to bring Hardstock or Anderson off the bench when they get into conference play and they get in a tough one on the road.
But you look at the depth that they're building here. Yeah, Jonathan Tavanuri, who had a quiet night. He only had 7 points this afternoon, and Lee Kumard had 18, but as you said, it was a very quiet 18. A lot of contributions, impactful contributions from a lot of different sources today.
Now, the one thing I think that makes BYU so difficult to defend is Dave Rose has a very unselfish team, and they will take advantage of what you give them defensively. They'll find the open guy. So you don't need a guy to be the man any particular night. It does not have to be Tavernari. It does not have to be Kumard. It's whoever's hot and who's ever open. The team's unselfish enough to feed the guy that is hot.
You look at the way that the scoring's been spread around. Abu's got 8. Archie Rose has 4. Hartsock has gotten onto the scoring board. Miles has 6. McGregor has 8. Lamont Morgan has 11. And Jesse Carr, not the only one, sporting a really cool bandage. Down to a minute and a half left here, as a lot of the walk-on players gain a chance to get some minutes. Mike Anisi with the basket. And you think about these walk-ons. They get no glory, none whatsoever. They just practice and take on a very underrated role for all these programs. Chance to get out there and play here in the last couple of minutes.
Nah, this is fun time for them. Some of these walk-ons never see the floor.
Never.
They're in practice, and they're making their teammates better. They're hustling every day, and they don't get out there with the cheerleaders all here and the band playing and the fans in the arena, so it's a good opportunity.
BYU will run their record to 13-2, 1-0 in conference play. And this will run BYU's record in the Mountain West 2+ years now, 28-5 in the Mountain West. In fact, you look at the 9 years of the existence of the Mountain West, BYU was 7 20-win seasons. That's the most. Most conference wins, 87 over those 9 years. And it's BYU and Utah tied with the most regular season conference titles with 4. And those two teams will be right in the mix again this year. Stick around, more college basketball coming up here on the Mountain. And we'll head back to the studios for all of our post-game coverage. Blaine will talk with Dave Rose and get his thoughts on this game. CSU will fall to 5-11, 0-2 in conference play. And they'll be welcoming in UNLV coming up here on Wednesday. Final seconds tick off. BYU with an impressive start to conference play as they roll over CSU 86-60. Our Sonic most valuable player is Lee Camard. Sonic's new everyday value menu delivers the great variety you'd expect, and all for only $1 each all day, every day. Lee Camard finishing with 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. He shot 8 of 10 from the field. Lee Camard, our Sonic most valuable player. As Camard and the rest of the Cougars walk off, it was Camard with 18, Jimmer Fredette had 15, and Lamont Morgan Jr. had 11. Those are the only 3 players in double figures as they spread the scoring around in putting up 86 points, right pretty much on their average. BYU, a prolific scoring team, one of the highest scoring teams in the conference. As they average 81, they got 86 tonight. All right, let's go over to Blaine Fowler, and he is with Dave Rose.
Dave, first of all, congratulations. There wasn't much not to like out there tonight, but what were you most pleased with in this game?
Well, I thought that we did a good job guarding their handoffs. You know, one of the big things is that we wanted to guard without fouling. We have a tendency to foul, and we got in a little foul trouble in the first half, but our bench came in and really gave us a lift, and we got going. We shared the ball really well offensively, and it was a really good win for us. It was something that really unexpected for the game to go like that.
You know, you talked this past week about wanting to get some of that bench more involved. Abuo played well, Lamont Morgan. Did they do what you wanted them to do tonight off the bench?
Well, the more time they can get on the floor, especially in conference games, the more experience they get, the more confidence they're going to get, and that'll make our team better. So we're just trying to go day to day, and we got a big one on Tuesday.
You know, this team seems to share the basketball. It's a different guy every night. You know, Tavanari didn't have a huge game scoring, but did some things. Lee had 18. But how have you gotten this team to buy in to this unselfish play?
Well, I think that you know what, they're good guys. All right, they're good players, but they're really, really good guys. And they when they put the team first, we can really share the ball. It makes us tough to guard. We've got a couple things this year that can help us as far as dribble penetration and get defenses to collapse a little bit more. And then we got guys who can make shots. It's a lot easier to pass it to a guy if you know he can make a shot.
Well, congratulations. A good start to the conference season, and good luck next week.
All right, thanks, Blaine.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Dave Rose now an astounding 40-9 in the Mountain West. Final score, BYU 86, CSU 60. Specialized statistical information provided by Stats. Our tripleheader continues with UNLV at TCU at 3:30, followed by Air Force at New Mexico at 7:30. For Blaine Fowler, I'm Mike Evans. Stay tuned for Postgame Live. It's next. This has been a production of The Mountain.
Live from the studios of The Mountain with Bill Dolman. This is Postgame Live.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Denver studios of The Mountain. I'm Bill Dolman. Larry Mangino and Marty Fletcher are with me for Postgame Live. So it's BYU by a bunch over Colorado State. And Marty, real quick, this was a deck that was stacked kind of against Colorado State. BYU lost to 6th-ranked Wake Forest. Home game winning streak is out the window. They had a week off to prepare for this game. They stewed about that loss. Colorado State really had no chance in the end.
Well, and when you look at BYU, I guess they don't like losing that home game very, very much. They came out and really got after it. You've got to remember, and we said it at the top, this is a BYU Cougar team that's calm, cool, and confident. They're not going to get rattled. The crowd was into the game early. CSU got off to a good start, pounding the glass. But BYU, with their veterans, and I'm talking about the two forwards, the dynamic duo, Lee the Spider-Man Camard, and, of course, the Brazilian bomber. When you have those two